Greetings, everyone. This is Shaman Wendi, and it is coming right upon the end of the year. We'll be closing out 2017, which has been a very, very, very powerful year and continues to be such each and every moment as we inch closer to the calendar year closing. I've been gestating a lot of concepts over the past many weeks, since I still am going through my dark night of the soul, which, really is kind of going to be a perpetual experience, and until we all have eradicated the toxic pain bodies that are embedded in our auric field, in our energetic body, which ultimately come forward and manifest in physical and psychological ailments. So it's really imperative that we address these things for that reason. But here's the bigger, more complex version of this concept, and I'm going to go at it from two different veins that intersect. And I'll start with the subconscious mind. So initially, we did not have a subconscious mind. We operated in real time, fully interdimensionally so, present. Think the movie The Matrix, where you're literally riding these dimensional waves and vortices in the energetic realities, because you've taken yourself, you've been able to rise beyond the three-dimensional construct. You've taken yourself out of that projection field, because it's a transmission. It's a projected transmission. And you've taken yourself out of that frequency field and risen above it, so you can actually step outside of it and look at it and then control it. That's what happened for me when I had my first accident in, I think that was 2004. Not my first accident ever in my life, but I'm just saying, pivotally so. I had a car accident. No, actually, it was in 2005. I had a car accident, and the whole experience became a scene out of the Matrix movie, because I'd risen my frequency field, to such a high degree. I mean, I've been consciously working as an energetic warrior since the mid 80s, late 80s. So each year, as I worked through and worked towards, and educated and experienced and researched, I would get stronger and stronger. So subsequently, by 2005, when I had this accident, and I hadn't really been challenged for a long time, so I wasn't aware of my capabilities, but I was able to sort of stop what was happening, the scene. I was able to stop the scene. It literally went into slow motion, like in the movie The Matrix, and I was able to have a complete conversation with those that I believed were targeting me, and we'll get into that in a second. The ultimate archonic deep state police, deep state of minds, deep state of unconscious, subconscious mind. Anyway, so, and because of that, I was able to effect a better outcome, a miraculous outcome, actually, And this was documented. There was like multiple points within what had happened that were synchronistically, messages and signs that this was just not a random, accident. And then again, it happened when I fell off the roof in 2007, or was I pushed? I don't know. Anyway, but as I was falling, I fell off of a roof 20 feet and hit concrete stairs on my right side. I broke my pelvis, I shattered my elbow, and just generally, didn't bounce, let's put it that way. Nerve damage and stuff. But when that was happening as well, I was able to slow down. As I was falling, everything went into slow motion, and I was able to once again say, okay, this is happening, this is what's going on. Was me talking to myself. And you need to, relax your body, keep your head up, and just go with it. And then boom, I hit. So, but I was able to protect myself from getting even further damage than I received. And, that was just like to get me caught up in all the legal system and the healthcare system, because I'd been out of that my entire life. I've pretty much gone under the radar most of my life, to be honest with you, which is great, because I wanted to, I've done my work. I've been on my mission, since I was 18. I mean, I've never not known I was on a mission, but as soon as I graduated high school at 17 and moved out of the house and, I was on my own, I was like, okay, I'm ready, I'm going, I'm doing it. I'm on a mission here. I'm a awakened soul on a mission. But, so I was not unaware of things coming after me, most of my life. And I could already see the system of gang stalking and gaslighting and how they worked. I mean, of course, there weren't terms for that, but I was severely traumatized in my childhood. I was deemed an exceptional child right off the bat, and so it was pretty obvious that I was a starseed, but not that, again, people knew what that was, but from that beginning, I was systematically targeted for traumatic torture. I mean, really, that's what it is. Satanic, and I mean, just like everything that you can read about, and then moving into MK Ultra and all that other stuff through Hollywood. But that's not what I want to talk about. That's another vein. So what I want to talk about is the unconscious mind. So as I began to express, we initially were in real time. Everything was in real time, like the Matrix, able to project our mind, interdimensionally, because that's what it is. Interdimensionally is through ourselves as a portal. So, because the avatar body is, it's this avatar body I'm in, it's a three-dimensional body. This three-dimensional body is not going to be able to leave this construct. Do you understand what I'm saying? So everything, all of your adventures and all of your, ability to leave this place happens internally. It's interdimensionally, because we're multidimensional. So, which doesn't mean that doesn't have a body. It's just a different type of body. It's a holographic body. It's a light body. That's where light body comes from. That's where light, Christ, and any of that comes from. It's an electrical field. So, anyway, when we were seated here at part of this project on Earth, because this is a project, it was an experiment, as much of it is, we initially came here with, our conscious mind intact. We understood that we were part of this project, and we knew what our mission was. and we were just operating at a much higher capacity. So through, subversive tactics to oppress the project and derail it and hijack it and all that other stuff, our mind was, our essence in that sense was fragmented out, and this sort of holding space was created. And within this holding space, which I will call, which is the subconscious mind, the archonic mind police could monitor us and control us, and in essence, puppeteer us. They could feed us whatever information they wanted to bring about whatever effects they needed to, whether that be directly related to the individual person or that person's effect upon their environment and society and everything else. So each one of us ended up with a subconscious mind. Unless, again, you can move out of the field of resonance with it and then collapse it away and stay in real time, which is what I try to do as much as possible. And considering how shackled I was in the subconscious mind, in the hidden realms, in the that dark shadow side, I'm really proud of myself for the amount of higher resonancy I've achieved. But it's a lot of work, and it's a 24-hour-a-day job, and we all have to be doing this work because I can only get to a certain point, and then if I'm dealing with somebody like, say my husband, my ex-husband, who wasn't at my frequency, and as much as I tried to pull him up, he just ended up pulling me down, like, really far. So that, these are the things we have to really stay in the conscious mind about. You don't want to draw in partners unconsciously that are really handlers, if you will, who are assigned by the archonic police to basically get in your way and fuck with you through their unconscious mind, because they're so unconscious and not, capable of self-awareness, self-control, integrity, all of these things that people of a higher mind, are more adept at. So, within the unconscious mind, this is where they're able to, just seriously fuck with us, turn us against ourselves, feed us suicide codes. And so it becomes poignantly clear that, one must eradicate the unconscious mind, the subconscious, unconscious mind. It's not part of our original design. It's not part of our highest good at all. And so to do this, like I said, it becomes not only imperative, but you can see how you have to really, honest to God, commit to restructuring your whole environmental field and really let go of people who are toxic and who do not serve you. And I mean toxic, that want to drag you down. I don't mean people that aggravate you because they're trying to help you raise your frequency. That's just your lower ego mind in resistance. You know who those people are. You know who the good people are, even if they annoy you, and you know who the bad people are. And the good people, we're all at the same level. So if you're going to mirror people who are at your level. So if you still got bullshit, they still got bullshit. So don't judge them. Just recognize your own baggage, your own set of issues, and focus on that, and try to be supportive and helpful to those around you. And sometimes we do have to mirror back, people's faux pas, so that they can really get the true experience of how it feels, not just, like a thought, but how it emotionally feels to receive what they put out. Sometimes that's necessary. But we want to balance these things. We want to be responsible and ethical, and do it with integrity and love. And so I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to get into the next area of the unconscious mind, which ties to the polarities of positive and negative in our existence and in this three-dimensional realm. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so what they've basically did was, create a way to fragment out our mind in such a way that they could control us. All right, so why? Why? Well, obviously, we can figure out why. But this is just one side of the coin. So, as people, as humanity is evolving, the species is evolving, it's also devolving, so we've got to pull it into the evolution and not the devolution. But as we are evolving and more of us are waking up, all of the possible timelines that could exist based on the unlimited dimensional highways that we exist upon, our dimensions and our timelines, everything's getting, not our dimensions, but our timelines are getting condensed now. So, a lot of the glitches, I guess, is what I want to say, are being cleared out of the operating system, and that is enabling us to evolve. But the hijackers of this experiment want us to devolve. So that's where the battle lies. So the next vein of this plan, this agenda, if you will, the reason that, we're even, being kept at this frequency, why? Those answers lie in our ancestral Akashic memories. So as we are awakening, a lot of our memories are coming back to us, and we're taught to think of these things as past lives, but they're actually simultaneous lives, because everything is on, like a computer. You got 15 tabs in the window open. Well, you can be in 15 places at once if you've got a computer that can handle that much, information being open at the same time. But, the point is that our past lives are our now lives. Our past selves are our future selves, are our now selves. We're all this. So, it's really us telling us, reminding us the rules of the game, or where the avatar has already gone. What chapters of the game did you already get through. So right now there's a resurgence in occultism, but it's not really occultism. The Luciferians have hijacked occultism to use that for their own devices, but this is actually, it has nothing to do with them, and it existed way beyond and before their bullshit. This is our ancient knowledge. This is our pagan magic. This is part of our historic lineage as multi-races coming through the galaxies from different planetary systems. There's ancient knowledge that's been passed down, and so we're not seeing so much a resurgence of all this stuff as we are seeing ourselves from past and future coming into this space and reminding us of our history and our power and our abilities and our lineage and all of that. And it's all within us. And so that leads to the age-old battle, if you will, at least on this planet, the patriarchy against the matriarchy. And I'm not really sure when and where that flaw or that flawed program was injected, because I have memories, Akashic memories of being persecuted for sure as a woman. I have multiple timelines that I've lived being persecuted as a woman, and specifically, being killed as a witch or a pagan. So I definitely have that. But beyond that, like my time in the Druid history, I always served as a warrior with the men, and I know I was a woman because I can feel that synergy. But within myself, even as a child, I just have always I've never really thought of myself as being either or. I'm just a person, an energy, and yes, I'm in a female body, and I have definitely passionate, feminine, sensuous thoughts about being a woman and what that is. I also have that same awareness of the masculine, and even when I was a little girl, I just, I didn't really relate to these preconceived molds, that we were kind of being pushed into. I'm not talking gender fluidity in terms of like sexuality, like I love men, and I never felt affected in that way. Sure, when the MK Ultra mind control program was installed, absolutely, that's part of that program. They definitely feed you imagery to create a bisexual operation, but I overrode that, and I never went that direction. And to this day, I have lots and lots of gay women friends. I love my girls. I have lots of gay men friends. I love my other girls. But for me personally, I'm a woman, and I desire a strong man. one more balanced in the masculine qualities, because my masculine qualities, my male energy is stronger than the average woman, and personally, I need a stronger man so that allows me to temper back, and release myself to more of my feminine energy. And really the only reason why my male energy is so strong is just because I was put in a survival situation, at such a young age. And so, the warrior, on top of that, though, I am a warrior, and I came here as a warrior. So, in the Vedic astrology, I'm really ruled by Mars energy, although the Mercury energy is equally as strong. But so my overall is learning how to fight battles, ethically and as a last resort, and you know what I mean? Just when to utilize my warrior and when to hold back. And that's good, because we need warriors right now. So that's what I am. And it's a challenge because I am a woman, and as an indigo, and an empathic, it's like, wow, really? I gotta go do that shit? Oh man, I don't want to do that shit. But it is just the nature of who we are and the frequency that we bring here, and together our anchoring of that frequency is what's disintegrating this matrix transmission, and enabling us to then help the crystals bring in the higher vibration of unconditional love. But that's going to take time, kids. We've got a lot of warrior work still to do, and it's actually just beginning. So, which is not to say that things can't change just as rapidly as they have over the last few months, because you see it's happened. So it's not about looking down the road. We just have to stay focused on the here and now of what's happening. And right now we're being fed the divisiveness, of against races. We're supposed to turn against each other as races. The Jews against the blacks, against the Aryans, and blah-de-blah, and all the colors and fragments in between. The Iranians, and everybody's sucky. And you know what? That's just the government propaganda, because the people don't feel that way. All the people really, honestly, who aren't infested with propaganda mind parasites just really care about each other. We all want the same things. And it's not each one of us that's creating the problem. It's these handlers that are, playing a game. And, this is the Hunger Games. These are the Hunger Games, people. And if you can't see it for what it is, you're not going to be able to get out of it, navigate our way out of it. And it's really imperative that we get on that shit now, because it's going down right now. So, but the patriarchy versus the matriarchy, that battle, it's easy to fall into the trap. Mother Goddess has been suppressed, no doubt. And Mother Goddess represents Gaia, the planet herself. And absolutely, no doubt, men and their money, men and their ego and their status and their power and their godlike, desires. And, it's okay. I get it. It's boring, but I get it. it's a fun place for them to play. They get to pretend all this shit. And the mother does the work, right? The mother raises the kids and, no glory. Just a lot of sacrifice. But the truth is that we are at a juncture where those polarizations of duality are coming to an end. And so don't fall into, the men versus women battle. That's not the battle. It's us against them. It's not men against women. We are a team. And at this moment, now we're going to get back to the evolution of the species and the eradication of the unconscious mind. Okay, so as we release that unconscious mind, we can start to evolve again. So the next area that they have to target is the polarization. Because the ultimate goal here in our evolution is that, like a battery, we have two frequencies that run the system. We have a male component and a female component. So think of it as the wire. We have the positive red wire, and then we have the negative black cable, wire, cable, whatever, however you want to see it. The black negative cable is the female cable, and it grounds the energy. So it stabilizes it, just grounds and stabilizes the energy, just like a woman does. And the male energy, the red hot, spicy, the red hot male energy is the active energy that ignites the power of the battery and allows it to function. And so without the feminine grounding, the female grounding cable, the red male cable can't do its work. So when they keep us divisive against each other, and when they push gender fluidity, making everybody genderless, what they're really doing is subjugate. They found a way, basically, to section you out of your own evolution. Because we have to work together in equal measure. That's what the integration of the polarities brings. And with that, we then can raise our frequency to a higher position. When they have us handicapped, the female, cable is not grounded, and then the two cables are polarized against each other, not magnetized towards each other, then nothing works. I mean, it's just that simple. You can apply it to anything. So the only way we're going to evolve is for this integration of the polarities, the male, the masculine, and the feminine. This is what yin yang is. And that's ultimately, you'll see the symbology in just about every religion and culture and faith, because that's what it's about. That's the secret. That's what the occult utilizes knowledge of. That's what's been wiped out of our educational system, our spiritual systems, the knowledge of how you operate at your highest has been taken away from you. So you're blindfolded and feeling your way through the dark for ages, the dark ages. You're feeling your way through the dark forever because it's a loop. It's a loop. So they're just running the same, they're trying to run the same program again, you know, like this is the 60s all over again. This is like, I don't know, it's like they're literally going back and they're throwing everything at us that could possibly stick to keep us from integrating our polarities. And you know, this is where also you know, being called back to our ancestral knowledge, you know, like myself and a lot of people that I know, because if you're with your soul tribe, then you're all going to be kind of picking up the same stuff at the same time. But we're being called back to, you know, the Nordic, the Norse knowledge, the Druid history, you know, which extends back to the draconian Lyran systems, galactical systems, and before you know, we even got here and this project was started. So these are intrinsic overlays that we are all ultimately connected to, because our future selves and our past selves are ourselves now. When you look at history, that's us. Okay, that's all of us. We were all those people. Who we are now is these people here. And in the future lives will be other people that you know, contribute, and some of us will have historical, you know, imprints, and some of us will experience, you know, the worker bee element. But this is what's happening. And so it's really essential that we not fall into all of these traps. The Aryan people don't even really know their history, you know, and they've also been hijacked, you know, with the KKK and that crap. That's bullshit. That's individual ego. That's people's power, and then they group together and then they hate, you know. And you can see this in every culture. There's always people that want to hate. They all want to hate. And hate is a polarity, and it's a form of chaos magic too. It just depends on how you use it, you know. Ultimately, we have to each go back to do no harm. You know, even the draconians learn to evolve, and it's really only the old crusty cronies who like power, who want to keep those predator ways going. But there are many draconians that, through lifetimes of, you know, being in many different star systems, you know, have had enough human bred into them that they, you know, vampires are a perfect example of that. Vampires are a part of the human hybrid program, the Lyran draconian human program. And sure, as with any, like I said, you know, the predators are there, but I know personally, if it wasn't for two vampires when I was a child who took me out of the traumatic dimensional monoframe that I was in experiencing when I was being sexually abused for the first time, and each time that it occurred after that, the vampires would come and take me out of my body and take me into the fourth dimension. I would play in a bedroom with, one of them was a child, it was a boy. It was an older man with a boy. And they would protect me. And I would go and play with this little boy, and it was like an old 17th century or 18th century maybe. No, it's probably 17th century Victorian bedroom in England. I can remember looking out the windows down on the streets. They were wet, and they were like cobblestone streets. But I was like maybe 4 years old. And, well, I was 4 years old physically in this realm, but my perception of my spirit in that realm was a little older, because the little boy that I was brought in to play with, he seemed more like a 4-year-old, and I seemed a little older than him. I seemed more like maybe, I don't know, 7? But that experience happened many times, and I was told by professionals that the fact that I was sexually abused at such a young age, and the fact that my mind didn't fragment out, was really miraculous. And believe me, I was smart enough not to tell them about the vampires. Don't talk to Western psychologists with that crap. But anyway, my battery's low. I'm going to take a quick break. But anyway, so over time, you know, when you're developing your gosh, it's so difficult to come up with terminology for some of this stuff, and everybody uses different terminology, so it's difficult. So when you look at yourself as a multidimensional, interdimensional being, this is where you find the signposts to kind of start to develop and control an awareness and an understanding of how we operate with these multidimensional concepts. So when you go to sleep and you're dreaming, I don't mean you, all of you, but the average person is still caught up in the subconscious mind element. And so as long as you're entrenched in the subconscious mind, your experience in dream time is going to be exactly that. You're going to be having dreams where you're processing psychological experiences. At a young age, I was attacked heavily through the dream state. So at a very early age, I was able to sort of peel away the mask of the dream state and see it as the multidimensional kind of battlefield that it was. So I was never a gamer, but I can completely relate to gaming because of that. Because of my ability as a child to understand that we were in some sort of game, but games didn't exist then, so I didn't really have a frame of reference. I used to call it the experiment, that we were in the experiment. So I think it's safe to say that, it's definitely safe to say that this is an experiment. So I'll stick with that. So throughout my life, I've been able to, really grab hold of and tear down the constructs of the subconscious mind to be able to stay in real time. Now, when you're in real time, that's when you, like the Matrix movie, can project your will. You can project your thoughts and your will on the desired outcome. Now you're a participant in the game. You're a designer. Like, you're not a player anymore, you're a designer. You're designing the game. That's where we all want to get to. And we want to be co-creative designers in our conscious state of mind all the time. No subconscious holding pens controlled by archonic deep mind police, you know? And to get there as a collective, we absolutely have to do this integration of feminine and masculine polarities. And it starts with integrating our relationship with each other as men and women, and then as individuals rectifying, you know, our anima and animus, our male and female qualities within ourselves. And you know, generally women are working out, you know, victimization aspects, and men are generally, you know, working out like status aspects. But the truth is that women are working out those same aspects. You know, who am I? What's my value? And men actually, what they need to be focused on is, you know, what was the message that I was given as a child? You know, what is my relationship with my father and my mother? You know, what do I know the truth to be? You know, it's not about anarchy. I mean, it can be, you know, because if we got to process that out, we got to process it out. But it's really just about recognizing who we are, who we really are, not who we're trying to be, not who we're pretending to be, but who we really are, and creating the kind of life that supports who we really are, not based on, you know, I have to prove to my dad that I'm a strong man, can't show emotions, I have to, you know, be a powerful man, businessman, all that stuff, you know. If that's what you want, great. But understand who you are and why you're doing things, you know. Don't just follow a program. Because creative people have to create. The second you get into power plays, you're not creating anymore. Now you're hammering away at psychological manipulation, and it's painful. So understand who you are and what you want to really do, what you're here to be for reals, not for, you know, projection value of the parental units. So here we're going to come full circle, because the feminine and the male aspects are tied to the sun and the moon. The sun is masculine, that's the father, and the moon is feminine, that's the mother goddess. The archons in their devious psycho agenda hijacked the moon and demonized it for you. That way you will stay away from your feminine nature. You will absolutely stay away from integration of polarities as long as you demonize the moon. And she has been the mechanical moon, where the archons control. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's why we have to release her, and we have to bring her forward as the partner that she is. She is the partner of the sun. The sun gives us strength, it gives us sustenance, It photosynthesizes our energetic field. We ultimately don't need food. That's just the meat body, meat suit. But, and so the sun is essential. It helps us to grow. And equally so, the moon and the feminine is our emotional realm. It's our sensuous nature. It's our nurturing, grounding, sublime, sleep. And I don't mean sleep of the unconscious. It's the rejuvenation of our spirit and our soul. When we rest with the moon, we rejuvenate our spirit. Under the moon, we make love. We procreate. We convene spiritually with our partner. And so by, demonizing all these things along with, oh my God, just what they've done to our sexual nature. It's been devolution. It's been de-evolved into a state of primal, I don't even know, bestiality. Bestiality. It just has, just the most disgusting, the pedophilia. All this was done for a reason. All this shit was created. All these aberrations were created for a reason. And that's to keep us, from the integration of the polarities in the highest, the Mother Goddess and the Supreme Father, who are partners. They work together, and they're not really people. They're just energy. It's energy. It's an energetic field. Sure, I'm sure, just like with Jesus, there is a light body that emanates as these prime creator and all that, but for our metaphorical understanding, this is how we understand it. So just think about these things. Don't fall for the disinfo. Don't fall for the obvious. Sometimes people think, oh yeah, I get it, woohoo, and then they go around and then they don't get it. They think they got it, but they didn't really get it, and then they act like they're more important and powerful than everyone else because they got something, and they didn't even get anything that was real. It was just like a big turd. Wait for the jewels. Look for the jewels. You'll know when you really have something. Discerning information right now, it couldn't be more important. Don't fall for the divisive bullshit. We are all part of each other. We are all a potpourri of intergalactic races. All of us. So different mixtures, just like nationalities are on this planet. So let's not turn against each other when we're so close to sovereignty. Anyway, I hope we get through the next couple days, because it's feeling pretty weird, but whatever we choose to experience, I'm sure, is what we need to continue our process of awakening so that we may be the most powerful, awakened beings that we can be. Anyway, I love you guys. Peace and happy New Year. And 2018, bring us love, bring us prosperity, bring us abundance, bring us acceptance, bring us unity, bring us integration of our polarities, and bring about the end of duality. Yes. Love you.